Once more, we welcome you within these walls with a program of inspirational music and spoken word from the crossroads of the West. We bring you at this hour the Mormon Tabernacle Choir from Temple Square in Salt Lake City, with Gerald Utley and Captain Dennis Leyendecker conducting the United States 15th Air Force Band, with Robert Kundig, Tabernacle organist, and the spoken word given by Spencer Kennard. Pausing at this time of Thanksgiving to acknowledge the goodness of God and to mark the passing of another season of seed time and harvest, the Tabernacle Choir and the United States 15th Air Force Band, directed by Captain Dennis Leyendecker, have joined together in a common prayer inspired by the words of Catherine Lee Bates. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Our program continues with another prayer, the prayer of thanksgiving, as the Tabernacle Choir and Band perform this traditional Netherlands folk song. choir is honored today by the presence of the U.S. 15th Air Force Band from March Air Force Base, California. In a Thanksgiving tribute to freedom, the band performs now Morton Gould's American Salute. The forms of praise are many, but in Randall Thompson's a cappella chorus, the words of praise are reduced to a simple Hebrew acclamation, Alleluia. Everyone loves Thanksgiving, a day of feasting on turkey and pumpkin pie, a day of recreation and being with relatives, a day of gratitude and thanks. The original Thanksgiving was in 1621. A little band of impoverished pilgrims on the edge of survival, half their number already dead from disease, hunger, and cold. They come out of their makeshift huts bearing the bounties of that first season: berries, a little bit of corn, venison, wild vegetables, and turkey. A prayer is offered, a celebration of gratitude to Him who had preserved them from the perils of the deep as the tiny Mayflower fought its way across the Atlantic. An offering of thanks to God for protection in that primeval wilderness, for the friendship of native Indians, and sincere appreciation for the blessings of freedom and self-government. Well, nearly 400 years have passed since that rude beginning. The rustic shelters which provided scant relief against the wintry blasts of Massachusetts have long since crumbled. The fresh mounds of the small cemetery have overgrown, and their sacred contents have turned to the dust from which they came. There's something remarkable about that day, something extraordinary about the Thanksgiving of 1621. On that occasion, the elements we usually associate with thanks and gratitude were missing. There was no prosperity. There was no comfort. The pilgrims were surrounded by hardship and poverty, and yet their thanks was sincere. Theirs was the true gratitude which triumphs over adversity and disappointment, the appreciation which transcends the moment and fastens itself upon the eternal prosperity of God's justice. Theirs was the divine thankfulness of earnest souls which is independent of circumstance, not the fleeting gratitude which selfishness draws its inspiration from in sunny skies and smooth sailing. The spirit of thanksgiving, then, is deeper than custom and tradition. A tradition, by the way, which took over 2 centuries to blossom. No, the roots of thanksgiving run to the depth of man's aspirations and fasten there to the triumphs of common humanity. Hopefully, the spirit of that day lives on. Hopefully, it resides in the hearts and minds of those who still gather in gratitude to renew old associations, to perform the rites of friendship and love which mark Thanksgiving, and most importantly, to bow in humble appreciation before the benefactor of all mankind. With 2 traditional favorites, Johann Kruger's chorale, "Now Thank We All Our God," and George Elvey's "Come Ye Thankful People Come," the spirit of thanksgiving has been called forth in song. And now, accompanied by the 15th Air Force Band, Gerald Utley conducts the Tabernacle Choir in John Rutter's recent setting of the Battle Hymn of the Republic, on Julia Wardhowe's inspiring words, "Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. Glory, glory, hallelujah." again we leave you from within the shadows of the everlasting hills. May peace be with you this Thanksgiving season and always.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Lieutenant Colonel Brent Hedgepeth. Our ceremony will begin shortly following the arrival on stage of our official party. As the party enters, please rise and remain standing through the introductions and national anthem. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the Secretary of the Air Force, the Honorable Edward C. Pete Aldridge, Jr. Accompanying the Secretary of the Air Force today is Mr. Thomas V. Jones, Chairman of the Board and Chief Executive Officer for Northrop Corporation. General Larry D. Welch, Chief of Staff of the United States Air Force. General John T. Chain, Jr., Commander-in-Chief, Strategic Air Command. And Brigadier General Richard M. Schofield, Director of the B-2 System Program Office. Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Thomas V. Jones.
It's my privilege to welcome you to Northrop's Corner, a pretty sizable corner at that, of Air Force's Plant 42 here in Palmdale. If the B-2 division at Pico Rivera is the birthplace of the B-2, then you can probably say that Plant 42 is its home. This is where the B-2 matures and goes out into the world. We're marking a momentous event to the country, to the Air Force, and certainly for all of us at Northrop and our nationwide industrial team. Now here we have 2,200 men and women of that select society, the B-2 team, that are right here today, representing their co-workers everywhere. Gentlemen. But we did feel it was important for everyone who has been involved in the B-2 to have the chance to witness this historic occasion real time. So with the permission of the Air Force, this ceremony is being watched live on a special satellite television network going out across the country to our many Northrop operating centers, to the Air Force Aeronautical Systems Division in Dayton, Ohio, and the Systems Command at Andrews Air Force Base, Maryland, to the Strategic Air Command Headquarters in Omaha, to Tinker Air Force Base, Oklahoma, and Eglin Air Force Base in Florida, to Boeing in Seattle, to LTV in Dallas, to General Electric in Cincinnati, and Hughes here in California, to New York and to Washington, and still other locations throughout America, so that every proud member of the B-2 team can participate with us here at Palmdale. To you here in Palmdale and all over the country, welcome and thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, General Larry D. Welch.
Secretary Aldrich, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to be a part of this very special occasion because this occasion is important to all who look to U.S. strategic forces to deter nuclear war. And that's the mission of the B-2. And as this aircraft becomes operational over the next few years, it will be a powerful addition to our deterrent force. Successful deterrence comes from strategic forces of such strength and such versatility that no opponent could ever believe that they could gain from attacking the United States or our allies. And ensuring that we have that kind of force requires modernizing the triad of strategic nuclear forces: the land-based ballistic missiles, the sea-based ballistic missiles, and our bomber force. And fielding the B-2 does much to ensure that that strategy of deterrence will continue to be effective in the decades to come. The B-2 is a superb example of the inherent technological advantage of a free enterprise system and of a free society. It will ensure that any potential adversary must face the uniquely effective retaliatory potential of the penetrating bomber, with its large payloads of high-yield weapons delivered with devastating accuracy on any target anywhere. This aircraft combines all of the best attributes of a penetrating bomber: long range, efficient cruise, heavy payload, all-altitude penetration capability, accurate delivery, and much attention to reliability and maintainability. Added to all that is the greatly enhanced effectiveness and versatility provided by its stealth characteristics. But bringing this aircraft to this very important milestone today required an intense effort by a talented and dedicated industry and Air Force team. And for that, we owe thanks to Mr. Tom Jones and all the members of the industry team, and to General Dick Schofield and all the members of the Air Force team. And we also owe thanks to the families of all the members of that combined team who have shared in this enterprise with their support through the very many months of long hours that it took to produce what we will see today. We have much left to do to complete the free flight preparation for the first flight, to to ring out the systems and flight test and to produce the remaining aircraft in this program as efficiently as possible. To complete that work, we need the continued dedication of the industry team and the U.S. Air Force team, and I know we'll have that. We need the continued support of the administration and the Congress, and I'm confident that we'll have that. But most of all, we need continued public understanding and support of the compelling logic of deterrence, because the overriding purpose of this new bomber is to ensure that we never need employ it or any other elements in our triad of strategic nuclear forces in their strategic nuclear role. That certainly warrants the high priority we have accorded this program, and it completely warrants continued unwavering support. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Secretary of the Air Force, the Honorable Edward C. Pete Aldridge, Jr.
Thank you. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct honor to represent the United States Air Force at this landmark event for our nation's strategic deterrent posture. This is a significant occasion for the country, for our Air Force, and for the entire contractor team headed by Northrop. The people of America depend on our Air Force to keep the peace. For the last 42 years, the manned long-range bombers of the Strategic Air Command have proven that they are the most flexible asset in our nuclear triad. In a very real sense, the SAC air crews and the aircraft they fly have been the bedrock upon which strategic deterrence rests. The B-2 underlines our commitment to the manned bomber. Today also represents a significant milestone for our Air Force's acquisition process. This achievement culminates nearly 10 years of research and development at the cutting edge of stealth technologies and innovation in aircraft design. The manufacturing technologies pioneered by the Northrop team will revolutionize America's aerospace industries and significantly enhance our industrial base. While the B-1B was evolutionary in design, the B-2 is revolutionary. It represents a crucial leap in our strategic modernization program. The B-2's first flight will highlight the return of the flying wing design to military aviation, a design pioneered by Northrop. I am certain that the B-2 we roll out today will become a keystone in our competitive strategies concept, which aligns America's strengths against the weaknesses of potential enemies. The B-2 bomber represents a stabilizing system in time of crisis and an essential component of our strategic nuclear forces as we progress down the path of nuclear arms reductions. The unique operational capabilities, both nuclear and conventional, that the B-2 will give our strategic forces will promote deterrence of nuclear conflict. Its stealth capability will permit it to penetrate the most sophisticated air defenses and survive well into the 21st century. Ladies and gentlemen, in a few moments, you will see the tangible results of bipartisan support for a weapon system, which will ensure America's security far into the future. Today, we're not just rolling out America's new strategic bomber, we're ushering in a new age of strategic deterrence. As we honor this great achievement in the history of strategic aviation, let us all remember America's enduring hope and prayer that the B-2 will strengthen the cause of peace and that this magnificent aircraft will never fly in anger. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brigadier General Richard M. Schofield.
Secretary Aldridge, General Welch, General Chain, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's my honor to represent the thousands of men and women who have contributed so much to the success of the B-2 program over the last 7 years. I would say to each of you, those here present and those of you watching on the other end of the TV link, you can and should be proud of your personal and professional contribution to achieving this historic milestone. The B-2 is a remarkable aircraft. Many of us have known that for some time and have known how remarkable it really is. The time has now come to share that. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the entire B-2 team, I am proud to present the first B-2 bomber.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jones.
You're being introduced. Yeah, right.
I guess I couldn't take my eyes off the airplane. And when I look at that airplane, I can't help but think of one thing. The years and years of sheer hard work by so many men and women here at Northrop and our team members all over the country. The task was to create an airplane so new, so revolutionary, with technologies we were just beginning to understand and manufacturing processes we hardly knew at all. The only thing for them to do was to work very, very hard. They had to be creative, innovative, inventive, individually and together. They had to be imaginative and adventurous, had to be talented and skillful craftsmen and women. They had to be persistent and patient, and maybe a little bit lucky now and then. And for years, they've been working in a kind of honorable exile. They haven't been able to tell anyone what they've been doing. They haven't been able to talk about their problems and their frustrations. And even more important, they haven't been able to talk about their successes. Their work has been subject to every kind of speculation, most of it wrong. They persevered, and now you can see what it's all been about. The Air Force recognized the possibilities years ago and encouraged us to go for them. That's what America is all about, reaching for the possibilities, backing our beliefs, and making them become reality. The Air Force had the vision, and they had the confidence, and our people justified that confidence. The B-2 is the first computer-age airplane, but this airplane wasn't built by computers, and computers didn't replace people. Computers brought people together and gave them the tools they needed to make the most of their own individual skills and imagination. Years ago, when we designed airplanes, everybody worked in the same room, or at least in the same building. Then things got specialized and complicated, and we all got separated. Now, with the computer network that we developed for this program, we've brought them back together under one roof electronically. And men and women all over the country have been able to join together in this extraordinary effort. People at Boeing and LTV, General Electric and Hughes, and hundreds of other companies, big and small, all over America, all working side by side with people here at Northrop. And we've been able to tie together the experience and the knowledge of industry and the Air Force right at the outset. Strategic Air Command pilots have already flown the B-2 for thousands of hours in simulators. This is already their airplane. SAC crew chiefs and the line maintenance people have given us their advice and the benefit of their experience. This is their airplane too. The Air Force logistics people have participated from the outset, and the flight test people at Edwards Air Force Base next door. This is their airplane. And of course, all the people involved in the B-2 program at the Air Force Systems Command and the Aeronautical Systems Command. This is surely their airplane. But I really have to commend the men and women of Northrop who struggled against the unknowns and the impossibles and the won't works and the simply difficult for long hours and longer weeks and many years to create a revolutionary new weapon system, the B-2. This is their airplane. And to their families who couldn't know, couldn't help and didn't complain much. This is certainly their airplane too. I think they all deserve our thanks and our applause. Our nation has placed its trust in us. They are proud of what you're doing, and I'm proud. And I'm proud to be associated with you. In closing, I'd like to express my thanks and my recognition to someone who can't be here today. He died before the B-2 couldn't become a reality. But thanks to the Air Force, before he died, he learned in a very private, specially arranged briefing that the flying wing would eventually emerge from a legend of the past and the secrecy of the present to be recognized and to contribute to a safer America of the future. Jack Northrop, we salute you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our ceremony. Please remain seated until the official party has departed. Thank you.
As soon as it's ready, where there's no date that we've established for the first flight, it will probably be in a couple of months, but we're going to fly it when it's ready to fly and not any time before. How many pilots do you have? There'll be two pilots and a provision for a third if necessary.
How do you get in and out of that thing? I can't see the hatch.
There is a hatch underneath the wheel well door in the back.
Let me ask you two questions and I'll subside. On the arms control feature of it, are you willing to let the Russians see this plane if we have a START agreement? Is there any problem with them looking at this?